Don't blink, it's your boy Ink with food for thought. This time we're talking about censorship. So a lot of people are admittedly, rightfully, saying that censorship is a bad thing. This is why I believe that censorship is a fantastic thing. Um, a censorship is, I was thinking about chaos. Um, Chaos is unfair, but it's just. And I know that doesn't make a lot of sense, but it doesn't have favorites. So censorship doesn't have favorites. Um, People will get canceled for saying some things, and will get praised for saying the other thing. And you can. It's hard because censorship, yes, censorship is bad. You should be able to talk how you want. You should be able to say what you want, think the way you want, right? Thankfully, I am, and I will be old enough to have known a world that was less censored, right? So most of my ideas were formed at a time where there was less censorship, and most of my ideas are pretty. It's crazy because censorship prone open mindedness, but you're censoring those exact thoughts. I wanted to come in on here and say that censorship was great. There's such a plethora of benefits because I think that censorship, why it's so great, is that by fear of getting canceled, we're censorship is a fear of being canceled. Fear of being canceled is some moral handcuff because for most people, they have their social, especially in nowadays, they have their social media linked to their job. For example, a prime minister is those accounts that are going to be very, ooh, sour, going to be very scrutinized, used by people. And I think we need those moral handcuffs, right? They say a code of law. In a perfect world, you'd expect people to abide by a code of law, which is a moral law, which is I'm genuinely a good enough person to not say horrible shit online where people can be affected negatively, right? That's a social law. Then you have the people behind camera that can have their they can be racist, sexist, they can be homophobic, right? They can be transphobic, and it's behind the camera. So that's your opinion. You're entitled to have the opinion you want. I don't care as long as it's not something that can be serves as a role model for younger children, more influenceable children. Because this is the problem. Censorship isn't about censoring a person. It's about having a place where kids just are able to grow. Like when I was a kid, the internet was pretty new. Yeah, it was law. I remember being 10, 11 years old and going on porn sites, and the porn site didn't have that. Hey, are you more than 18? They were super accessible. There was no barrier, right? And that's how I discovered sex. I remember being able to swear because at the movies, at the television, people would swear. I remember this show on a showcase was talking about the adult industry at 6:30 p.m. on a Friday night. And I remember all of this because they shaped me, right? I remember, and it's crazy. Censorship. So I love Eminem. I'm gonna take Eminem as an example. Okay, I love Eminem. I think Eminem helped shape the person I am today in a big fashion because he was not afraid to be weird, not afraid to be himself. But if you look at Eminem today, he would be canceled. If Eminem was thinking out song, I'm not gonna say name because who gives a shit about this the name. I, if you like the song, you like the song. It doesn't matter what is said as long as you relate to the lyrics, as long as personally you think that the lyrics are good, and personally you relate to what is being said, who gives a shit about the general meaning, the general understanding, the social understanding of a song? Because a social understanding is a construct of a hive mind. So a hive mind, what is a hive mind? Is a train of thought that people share with others. So for example, we can all agree that the sky is blue. Right? Fair to say. Fair to say. We can all agree that racism is bad, right? Agreed. There's gonna be a handful of people who are convinced the sky is not blue. Say, well, sometimes it's orange, sometimes it's black, and it's true. You're right, but generally, it's blue. When it's dark outside, you're sleeping, And when you're outside enjoying the sun, it's more likely during the day than during the night. If you're a guy like me, you prefer the night. We're pretty rare. The hive mind is understanding there's basic construct, there's basic information. So I was looking at something that is insane. They were trying to explain the existence of God. So they were saying the reason why God may exist, one of the foundation. I don't get political on this channel. I don't get into if I have a guess, then yes, but as a person I don't get into these kind of talk because I understand I'm never gonna make everybody happy, and I have this desire to be liked for whatever reason. Um, but there was this talk that were saying, "Oh, we all agree with a chair. A beanbag is a chair. A chair can have three leg, two leg, one leg, right? It's still gonna be a chair, right? We all have this understanding. We all can point to an object and say, "Hey, is this a chair?" And most of us are going to say yes to a chair. Most of us. So we all have the understanding of what a chair is, what a chair is supposed to be like. We all have that understanding that this is a spoon. There's a specific shape for a spoon, but the spoon can come in many, many forms. We have the hive mind that this is a cup. The hive mind of saying this is a cup. What consists a cup? Well, something to hold liquid. And sometimes the handle, sometimes not a handle. But it comes in all shapes of form. It comes in all material. It comes in all colors. And it comes in all sizes. They're all considered cup, right? So social construct is censorship is pushing a hive mind, pushing a censorship, and saying these ideas are not good to have. My problem with I think this is great. I think censorship as a whole is great because okay, that's how I'm gonna stand up. My problem with censorship is we're not. I feel like I was cuddled as a kid, and a lot of the things I'm having problem with nowadays is because I was too cuddled as a kid, which is fine. My parents did their best. I'm not blaming them. I'm blaming myself for not wanting to explore the world, and all kind of the world, right? Um, censorship is awful because by not if you're not hit by a truck young, if you're not being told to toughen up, if you're not shown that being competitive sometimes is good, there's this there's censorship is the problem is censorship is it's hard to explain, but there's no limit to what's being censored. Like one day a word is good, the other day the word is not good. Personally, there's a lot of words out there that are not socially acceptable, but I've been raised with those, and I've been called those as a kid. I've been called the F slur. I've been called the R slur. I've been called a double F slur, a frickin' F slur, right? And I grew up with that, and by hearing it enough, I became immune to it, right? Um, Also, I understand that socially, it was more accessible back then to say so. It was just an insult, but still, censorship said no. This is not okay. Censorship is the reason why and I'm getting a little bit political. I'm sorry, but this is something that needs to be said. Um, Censorship is the reason why we were having two medal for two teams that are playing the same game. There's no loser, there's no winner. That's censorship right there. That's protecting a kid's feeling. Would you think that Cristiano Ronaldo? Would you think that Messi? Would you think that Jude Bellingham, with a 30 million contract, the next big player of soccer? Telling you right now, right now. Okay, I don't follow soccer, but I've been talking about it at work. So I want to include that, so I feel like I know the fuck I'm talking about when I don't. Do you think those people they would be able to be as competitive, to be as amazing as they are today without competition? I was watching. It's insane to me. I was watching this morning. Arnold documentary, and it was all about competition. And Arnold is bigger than person, bigger than life icon, and it was because of competition, right? But censorship has a really positive thing, really really positive thing. Because if you're, the more you censor, the more we need to come up with more words. The more you censor, the better people become as a general race, as a human race. We become better. So, for example, let's say you're how can I explain this? let's say you're raised and you want to swear, right? It's not because you think it's bad. I'm working with people who are saying some horrible thing, but it's just nature because they've been raised like that. Or if I want to swear, like when it's funny when I talk to my mom, I can swear and it's funny. I'll make her laugh. I'm used to swearing more when I'm with my mom, right? When I'm with my dad, I rarely swear because it's more tough, more strict. I think my mom, she's more able to accept that. Hey, even if he swears, he doesn't mean like a bad thing. My dad is not able to understand that. But still, what I'm trying to say is, for example, me, I like to swear, right? I feel like it's very familiar. I feel like it's very inclusive, because we swear. Like at work, I'm gonna make a this is boy gonna make a horrible joke, like a fucking old time joke, like inappropriate joke. But I know that deep down, these guys are not like that. These guys don't believe in. Okay, so they're gonna make a joke like, oh, like, if I was 10 years younger and this girl came, and I was in a bar, I could get this girl. It horrible, horrible at work. This is a joke that are being made. Horrible. However, when you take a look at the people, when you understand who they are as a person, you understand they're not really like that. You understand that it's a toxic environment that are pushing this, and it's more acceptable to be like that when I know that you're not like that. I know that you're not a bad person per se. The censorship is it's forcing people to be more creative, and creativity brings so much more, like getting creative as to find new swear or new slur or new insult towards a group of people, and then to push you to be more creative, because if you're creative in eight, you're creative in positivity. If Pam Beasley can have a relationship that started with being kicked out of the Chili's, so can we. All of this is rambling, all of this is ranting, but hopefully there's one person out there who want to send a message here, right? I was talking about you guys know um V Vendetta is a movie that changed my life, right? So in V for Vendetta, they censored everything. In Equilibrium, which is a movie with Christian Bale, they censor emotion, right? They were taking this drug to not have emotion. It's amazing that we had those two movies that made so much sense to me, so relatable. In V for Vendetta, they're censoring, and V, he seemed like a terrorist, but he's just trying to expose the truth, right? With all that's going on with the Palestinian and Israel, um, everything that's going on is being censored, and censorship is bad. But again, you can censor word, but you cannot censor a thought, and that's the whole generation. That's the whole meaning of this video. This is 12 minutes just to say this one sentence. You can censor thought, but you cannot censor. You can censor word. You cannot censor a thought. And at the end of the day, censoring something doesn't mean you're stopping it. Censoring is pushing, and when you push too much, people push back. That's the idea behind it. I love you guys. Peace.